Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up Charlotte to Go. And this morning we're talking about the Beatles have a new song.
I know. I guess this was the headlines all over this morning. And Larry, you came in saying, you know, the Beatles are releasing this new album.
Beatles in quotes.
Via AI.
Yeah, here's the caveat. It's not the Beatles. There are two living members of the Beatles. And that's Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. John Lennon passed away, George Harrison passed away. So there's a song called Now and Then that John Lennon actually recorded as a demo back in 1979. And so Paul McCartney had heard this many years ago. In fact, you remember back in 1995, they released Free as a Bird, which was George, it was Paul and Ringo, with John's vocals in the studio. And that was released, that was a big hit back in 1995. So they found this other track, Now and Then, that is John at the piano, kind of a poorly tuned piano, just doing a demo. And through AI, they have gone in and remixed it, and it will be released later this year. But as far as living Beatles, it's really only Paul and Ringo. So you can't say Beatles unless somehow, some way, they found something George Harrison did and kind of mixed it in that track.
But I think it's crazy to look at this and see where we can go in the future, because, like, ABBA did that whole concert with holograms, you know? And so now it's like, what is the future of AI and concerts and new music?
I mean, what they did with this, if you can imagine someone sitting at a piano recording on a cassette player a song that they wrote or were writing, it's called Now and Then. What they did is they completely took away the piano. So the only thing you have is John Lennon's vocals, and then they've gone in and added a rhythm track to it, probably enhanced his vocals and added some more vocals to it. Now, I'm only assuming that's what they did, and that'll be later this year that we find out.
They're the BAI-tles.
Oh, did you just think of that, or have you been saving that?
Well, Larry talked for a while, so I was trying to think what we were going to call the Beatles. So that's what I came up with.
But that is what's happening. And I mean, we were listening to a song generated by AI not too long ago with Frank Sinatra and Lil Jon. And it's crazy what they can do, because I think before, you know, bringing AI into it, you were able to isolate like vocals from a rhythm track just with, like, I don't want to call it simple editing, because audio editing is not simple.
Well, it's taking frequencies and taking out certain frequencies that have those instruments. It's been done for years. There's ways to do that. But this AI just eliminates it instantly. I heard a crude version. I saw this was on YouTube about a month ago. And just by accident, I said, Paul McCartney doing My Sweet Lord, which is a classic song by George Harrison. I thought, why, he'd never done that. Then it said AI version of it. And it sounded like McCartney with a really crude background to it. But that was kind of the first, you know, the initiation of AI into music. Now we can see just unlimited possibilities.
Yeah, and we've even seen pictures. I saw our verified team did one between Trump and DeSantis, and pictures they had posted, and they determined they were AI-generated pictures. And so, you know, it's like, how are we going to distinguish, like, photos, music, and are people going to be, or what they say, if they can use their voice? I mean, they can do that for any of us. We've talked about people can call you and give a scam, and it sounds like a loved one. If your voice is posted on the World Wide Web, you know, they can find it and generate it. It's crazy.
And this technology is exponentially increasing. Just think about it. A few years ago, no one was saying AI, even though technically Siri was part of that. But I had a friend, Matt Hammond, that just randomly put in "Make Me a Weather Song," and all of a sudden it did a pretty good job.
AI does it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if AI becomes so prevalent, if musicians and artists will have to go, okay, after I pass away, I don't want you to continue to use my voice to create new albums and songs, or, like, you know, it's, or yes, you can continue to use it for my estate. I mean, you can.
Well, that with John Lennon, that was.
I was going to say, I don't want to give the wrong impression here, because he sang this song. This is not AI creating his voice in a different way.
It's really John Lennon.
This is really him.
They just used AI for part of it.
Yeah, he sat down at a piano in his apartment there in New York City in 1979, and with a cassette player recorded him in a piano. He was singing along with the track. So and Yoko Ono gave permission. That was not stolen from him.
For sure. But it's interesting to think with just this how far it can go in the future and where we will go with it in the future.
And we were joking a minute ago. Someone took a Lil Jon song and made it sound as if Frank Sinatra did it.
It sounded just like
Yeah,
it.
just like
Completely inappropriate.
Totally, yeah.
We were all laughing. Sarah was
but
just
impressive
like,
nonetheless.
But it sounded like her.
Impressive nonetheless.
Yes. Well, that's what the thing about AI is that it can completely not just isolate voices now, but it can manipulate a voice to make it say something that it's not necessarily saying.
Yeah.
So kind of what me and Chris and Lara were talking about before is that, Photoshop has been around for a while. So now we have systems and products that can take in a photo and say, that was Photoshopped, even if you can't tell.
Yeah.
But, nothing like that exists for AI. I don't know that it will.
And now they can say, well, you said it. We have it right here. Well, I did say it.
This is a whole, legally.
Scary to think about.
This is about to get hefty.
Yeah, but for musicians, I think this could also be a great tool that Paul McCartney is using, that you almost have kind of a different angle that you wouldn't be able to do it. So you can almost take what AI gives you and then have the humanistic characteristic to bring it to a new level. So it has its pros and certainly its cons.
And then we'll have the holograms where it's like they're performing it right there in front of you. Or your virtual reality headset where you don't have to leave your living room.
$1,000.
Melissa saying creepy. And John Kelly saying it will be impossible to know if anything is from its original source or if it's produced by AI. That's what I'm afraid of for the future.
That's going to be probably the case.
Stop it.
All right, folks, chime in. Let us know what you think about it. And then we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for another edition of Wake Up Charlotte to Go.